this new television program aims at bringing our politics on one platform. It is a program where we will bring together some of the major parties or players of the major parties in St Lucia to talk about politics, to talk about party politics, to talk about governance, and to talk about decision making in government. A little later, you will meet some of our guests who come from the major parties here in St Lucia. But our main topic today is DSH. And this is something that's on the minds of all St Lucians. But before we go into this, let me introduce you first of all the way down, away from me, Mr. Emmanuel Clary, who is representing here today the United Workers' Party. Welcome, Mr. Clary.
Thank you.
We also have Mr. Peter Alexander representing one, and we have Mr. Carlos George Jr. representing the St. Lucia Party. Welcome, gentlemen, to this record-breaking and history-making program. First of all, just tell us about your functions within your party, Mr. Clary.
Currently, I am serving acting as the chairperson of the United Workers' Party. I was elected as the first deputy chairperson. However, with Mr. Myers taking on his role in the UK, I am serving right now in the capacity of chairman of the.
And you've always been with the United Workers' Party?
Always.
All right, thanks. Mr. Peter Alexander, one.
Yes, chairman of the Organization for National Empowerment. We started off in 2005, and I have held that position since.
Okay. ASLP, Mr. Carlos.
Good evening, Jerry. Good evening, viewers.
You've always been in this Muslim party?
Might be able to say so. I don't think so. But I serve in the capacity as a research officer for the Muslim party.
Okay. The thing is, it's a topic you cannot escape in St. Lucia. Some would say it's a topic that divides St. Lucia, and others might say it's a topic that unites St. Lucia. I suppose it depends on which side of the political fence you stand. Mr. Peter Alexander, what is your position? Divide or unify?
I think it's creating a huge division in the country at this time. And certainly, the way this whole thing was introduced, I believe, is the genesis of the division. Right?
Division in what way?
Well, certainly, when I say the way it was introduced, I meant that first of all, it was alleged that the Labour Party had the project, or they were discussing it for about 15 to 18 months, and nothing the party had the project, or they were discussing it for about 15 to 18 months, and nothing was said. The United Workers' Party came into office, and we didn't hear much about it, and all of a sudden, we just saw the Prime Minister literally at the signing ceremony, and you're talking about, $2.6 billion US, investment. And certainly, you don't as a government just introduce something like that and sign it without bringing your people involved. You're talking about, I think our budget is what, 200 million or something, or 300 million, I'm not too sure.
1 billion.
Right? And you're talking about 2.6 billion. So certainly whatever is going to have a massive impact on the country one way or the other. And I think that there should have been discussion, there should have been debate, and there are some persons out there who think there should have been a referendum and something like that. And I think that's the way we should go. I mean, you look at even St. Vincent, just a question of the Caribbean Court of Justice. Okay, that was.
Before we go this far, let's just ask Mr. Clary to just clarify for us. Mr. Clary, was it something that was just jumped into simply because it was a project that perhaps the United Workers' Party saw that it would give it some more visibility?
I don't think it was something that was jumped into. I like Mr. Alexander said, the origin of this project, we know that the Labour Party had been in discussions for over a year as far as this project is concerned, which means that there was significant progress had been made for the United Workers' Party to have come in and within a period of between 6 months, 6 weeks, gone into the agreement means that sufficient progress was made in the discussion as far as the Labour Party was concerned, that the United Workers' Party was advocating
But
for.
I'm sure you'll agree that there's a difference between a signing of agreement and then an agreement that has been in discussion.
Well, yes,
I
I
mean,
guess.
I think for all persons in St Lucia, it was something that seemed to have just come down from above and dropped in our lap and said, you know, the Prime Minister has already signed it.
But that is my point. You would have signed based on the level of discussion at which the had progressed. If, for example, the whole question of at what level that the discussion had reached, which allowed the United Workers' Party to go into signing an agreement. This is from that standpoint, I think that it is not something that the party just jumped into and went into the signature.
Mr. Jr., how far into this agreement was the St. Lucia Labour Party? At least how close were they to signing?
Well, before we go there, Jerry, if you might just allow me to say, I think in the search for proclaiming some sort of vision for the South and hope for the South, we've ended up with a lot of division in the midst of what has been seen here in DSH. In terms of actual negotiations, I mean, unless if the United Workers' Party was secretly involved in negotiations prior, I can't fathom how you could go through a process of an investment of the scale of $2.6 billion value added in a matter of 6 weeks, particularly when the former administration, the Labour Party administration, was working actively in terms of negotiation of a framework of an agreement from perhaps somewhere between November of 2015. So really and truly, the Labour Party was perhaps looking at this actively for about a period of 8 months, 8-9 months. Before that, there was a proposal in terms of the concept, and of course there was a proclamation made in the party manifesto of 2011 of a desire to see a racetrack. And the thinking there, of course, would be that this racetrack would be empowering existing players in the horse racing industry in St. Lucia. But clearly what we're seeing now, how this thing is being manifested, is completely different from that original vision.
Why should the SLP say something?
There were actually statements regarding the horse racetrack made, but they were not used in any way as this big political carrot to say that, look, we are bringing a $3 billion investment. Because it's not responsible, Jerry. We've had a history of investors coming to the country and they have not delivered. The investors are coming in the country.
There are ways where you could at least inform the electorate going into an election, where this becomes a talking point for people to understand what is going on.
I think if you look very carefully to the record, you will actually see that there were statements made regarding the proposed horse racetrack and development of VA4. Sometimes these things don't get played out in the media because they're not, exciting enough in terms of the other topical issues at the time, which was VAT and impacts and those types of things. If you actually look in the record, I'm pretty certain you're going to see mention of this proposed development. There are a lot of things spoken about that don't necessarily get the kind of airplay that you would imagine. But then, of course, when you go and you sign a big agreement and you proclaim that this is going to be a $2.6 billion agreement to the public, it's showing really the true intent of this, which is using things sometimes, using development as a political tool instead of looking at the development from a purely developmental standpoint as to how it benefits people. And I think that is where because we've had a long history, Jerry, looking back of promised developments, of promised hotels, whether it's at Trumasse, whether it's at Grand Anse, whether it's at Newport, whether it's on the Petors. We've had a long history of those types of irresponsible statements. And I think we need to understand that this should not be how we actually go about development. But we can talk a lot about DSH and a particular issue of consultation, which I think
is in a moment. But Mr. Peter Alexander, here is the United Workers' Party saying, yes, we just did what was the follow-up, if I'm right. Am I saying that right? And here is saying, Yes, it was happening, but the campaign or the project of this magnitude sort of got lost. Is it something that you think either party hadn't done sufficiently right by the people of St Lucia in terms of getting a proper or allowing them to get a proper perspective on that particular project?
Because just a correction, the budget is already 1.2 or 1.3 billion, right? Sorry.
That's EC dollars.
EC dollars,
Yeah,
yes.
but not US. But you were
Yes.
correct in that it's about 300, 400
Yes.
million
Okay.
US dollars.
No, my main concern is the question of how the project was brought to the nation. Now,
Do you think the SLP could have done something better
Well-
in terms of letting the people know, hey, this is an exciting project? Because I was reading some time ago that all the way back to 1959, developments of viewport have been going on, and it has never come through as it should have.
well, I don't really want to be too critical because everybody has their own style. And maybe the government of the day felt that there wasn't sufficient, if you want to call it, commitment on their part at that point in time to make it, public. Because as you know, investors come and as he said, they offer you the world. Okay, and then when brass starts to the table, they don't deliver. So sometimes you don't really, when you're in government, you don't really want to blow your trumpet, and then it comes back to haunt you.
Okay.
So from that point of view, I would probably give the Labour Party the benefit of that.
We have to take our first break. I'll give you a chance to continue, and of course, Mr. Clary, you will have to come in and provide us with some sort of clarification from what the two gentlemen have said. This is Talking Points, our new program on television, and we hope that you will enjoy it because it's something different. We try to provide a balanced view as far as politics in St. Lucia is concerned. We'll be back in